Thank you so much.
We love you, Tia.
Cory Hardrict finally speaks out about his divorce with Tia, saying that he cried himself to sleep for almost a year and a half. Check it out.
Tough when it feels like you're going through something alone and no one understands, and no one's there for you, and it's just like, you're a man, especially a black man. They're like, oh, he's tough, he's strong, but it was a year and a half crying myself to sleep every night. Nobody see that.
Yeah.
Nobody see that.
Yeah.
You live 5 minutes away from your babies, you know what I'm saying? Because people who know Cory Hardrict know that his kids and his family was everything to him.
It seems that the single life isn't treating Tia Mowry all that well because, from the looks of it, she's attempting to rekindle something with her ex-husband, Cory Hardrict. However, Cory isn't entertaining any of it, and he's made that abundantly clear by throwing some serious shade her way. This appears to be part of her effort to win him back, despite the commendable job they've done co-parenting their 2 children since Tia filed for divorce in 2022. That said, things between them behind closed doors seem far from amicable. Tia's apparent desire to reconnect with Cory is being met with resistance, and Cory seems ready to take things public in a way that could embarrass her further. Let's unravel this mess, shall we?
It's officially over when it comes to the battle between Cory Hardrict and Tia Mowry. So it looks like, according to court documents obtained by The Blast, that Tia will not have to pay Cory anything in spousal support or child support, and she's going to be able to keep their home. People are alleging more than likely the reason why she's able to keep the home is because she actually paid for this $2-point-something million home that's now worth over $4 million.
It's somewhat surprising to see Tia being the one trying to win Cory back, especially since the general assumption was that Cory would be the one fighting for reconciliation. After all, Tia was the one who initiated the divorce back in 2022. She took to Instagram to announce their split, sharing a heartfelt post that read, "I have always been honest with my fans, and today is no different. I wanted to share that Cory and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We will maintain a friendship as we co-parent our beautiful children. I am grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank my friends, family, and fans for your love and support as we start this new chapter moving forward in our lives." At the time, many believed their relationship was rock solid. From the outside, they appeared to be the epitome of a steady, loving couple. Their public persona gave no indication that trouble was brewing, which is why the news of their divorce came as such a shock. It felt like an unexpected curveball that left fans reeling. They always seemed like they were in it for the long haul, so Tia's announcement sent waves of disbelief across social media. "It's legally blonde," Tia said lightly. "Legally blonde." They'd recently tried to avoid acting in the special needs community. The initial promise of a peaceful and respectful split seemed hopeful, but as time passed, it became evident that this optimism didn't align with the reality of their situation. While Tia didn't spill every detail about why their marriage ended, she dropped enough hints for people to piece things together. Financial issues seemed to be at the heart of their problems, which wasn't exactly a surprise to those familiar with their dynamic. Let's be real, Tia was always the primary breadwinner in the relationship. She wasn't just successful, she was already a household name long before Cory entered the picture. As one half of the iconic duo from Sister Sister, Tia had cemented her place in Hollywood by the time Cory was still trying to find his footing in the entertainment industry. Their early relationship dynamic, her as the established star and him as someone still carving out a career, may have worked initially, but over time it likely created an imbalance. Being the main financial provider while trying to maintain a marriage and a family isn't easy, and the strain of that burden became apparent. Tia never outright accused Cory of mishandling finances or shirking responsibilities, but her social media activity spoke volumes. At one point, she liked a post shared by the Neighborhood Talk that addressed the frustrations of being with a partner who doesn't contribute financially. The subtle side-eye emoji she left under the post didn't go unnoticed either, sparking a wave of speculation among fans who quickly connected the dots. Meanwhile, Cory had his own perspective. He openly admitted during interviews that he felt pressured to propose to Tia before he was financially ready. He described the societal expectations and personal insecurities he faced, explaining how he eventually decided to move forward with faith, despite not being in a strong financial position at the time. Though his words painted a picture of love and determination, they also hinted at underlying issues that may have contributed to the eventual breakdown of their marriage. After 14 years of marriage, it became clear that Tia was growing increasingly tired of being the sole breadwinner. Subtle frustrations turned into louder statements, and fans couldn't help but notice the shift. Despite her efforts to remain classy and composed in the public eye, Tia's actions suggested that she had reached her breaking point. Cory, on the other hand, didn't shy away from stirring the pot. When Tia filed for divorce, Cory responded by demanding alimony and challenging their prenuptial agreement, claiming it was signed under questionable circumstances. This move didn't sit well with fans who viewed his actions as opportunistic and petty. The general sentiment was that Cory had no business going after Tia's money, considering how much she had supported him throughout their marriage. Some speculated that his legal maneuvers were less about the money and more about stalling the divorce in hopes of reconciliation. The legal battle between Tia and Cory took a dramatic turn that no one could have predicted, and the fallout has been nothing short of explosive. When Cory managed to get the prenuptial agreement thrown out, it was like throwing gasoline on an already roaring fire for Tia, who had previously attempted to take the high road. This move felt like a betrayal of everything they had once shared. It wasn't just a legal maneuver, it was a declaration of war. Tia wasn't about to back down. The prenuptial agreement had been a cornerstone of their marriage, a safeguard that both parties had agreed upon long before vows were exchanged. By challenging it, Cory signaled that he wasn't just seeking a fair settlement, he was coming for everything. And for Tia, who had spent years building her career, reputation, and financial independence, this wasn't just a personal attack, it was a threat to her legacy. Determined not to let Cory dictate the narrative or strip her of what she had worked so hard to achieve, Tia shifted gears. She was done trying to keep things civil. The public saw a different side of her, one that was fierce, unrelenting, and willing to do whatever it took to protect herself and her interests. It was clear that the days of carefully worded statements and restrained public appearances were over. Tia was ready to fight fire with fire, and she wasn't afraid of getting her hands dirty in the process. What followed was a messy, drawn-out feud that played out in courtrooms, tabloids, and social media feeds. Every new development seemed to drag their once private relationship further into the public eye, turning what was supposed to be a straightforward divorce into a spectacle that captivated and horrified fans. The court hearings became must-watch events, with reporters and fans alike hanging on every word. Leaked court documents and anonymous tips painted a picture of a relationship that had been far more tumultuous than anyone realized. Friends and former colleagues of both Tia and Cory came forward with their own takes, fueling the fire with allegations of betrayal, manipulation, and even infidelity. The media frenzy was relentless, dissecting every move they made, every statement they released, and every subtle dig they took at each other. But the courtroom drama was only part of the story. Outside of the legal battles, the tension between Tia and Cory seemed to spill into every aspect of their lives. Social media became a battleground, with fans and critics taking sides and engaging in heated debates about who was in the right. Cory's cryptic posts, often laced with thinly veiled accusations, only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, Tia's attempts to maintain her composure in public began to crack, revealing the emotional toll the ordeal was taking on her. To complicate matters even further, rumors began to circulate that Tia might not be as done with Cory as she had initially claimed. Despite her public declarations of independence and self-reliance, there were moments that suggested otherwise. Whether it was a nostalgic Instagram post, a slip of the tongue during an interview, or the way she seemed to linger when speaking about their past, fans couldn't help but wonder if there were still lingering feelings beneath the surface. Cory, for his part, seemed to relish the ambiguity. In interviews and social media posts, he hinted that Tia might be trying to find her way back into his life, even as she publicly distanced herself from him. His comments were often vague enough to be dismissed as speculation, but they were also pointed enough to make headlines. Whether he was intentionally fanning the flames or simply unable to resist the drama, his actions kept the story alive and ensured that their feud remained a topic of conversation. And yet, despite the bitterness and animosity, there were moments that suggested the story might not be as black and white as it seemed. Both Tia and Cory occasionally let their guard down, revealing flashes of vulnerability that hinted at the pain and regret underlying their actions. For all their public posturing, it was clear that this wasn't just a battle over money or custody. It was the unraveling of a deeply personal connection, one that neither seemed entirely ready to let go of. The emotional complexity of their situation made it impossible to predict what would happen next. Would they find a way to reconcile, or would their feud continue to escalate until there was nothing left to fight over? Was there still love buried beneath the anger and resentment, or had the relationship become too toxic to salvage? For now, all anyone can do is watch and wait as the drama unfolds. It remains a cautionary tale about the risks of mixing love, money, and public scrutiny. And while the future of Tia and Cory's relationship remains uncertain, one thing is clear: their story is far from over.